is the Revisionary Podcast with your host, Juan Carlos. The Revisionary Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Revisionary Podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Juan Carlos. So in case you have never tuned in before, first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for listening. Second, the way this works is we bring on guests, usually comedians, who tell a non-fiction story about their lives in which they wish things had gone a little bit differently. Afterwards, I give them an opportunity to tell the same exact story, except this time they can change any facts or details that they'd like about their story, and then we discuss the impact of their changes. So, I have a few announcements. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to all of you who participated in the Revisionary Podcast contest. I want to say congratulations to Jordan. You took home $50 for participating. It was super easy. Received the money, and any of you guys who want to see the process, you can go ahead and check out on Instagram. We put up a nice little video of the whale spinning and our winner being announced. So that was kind of cool to finally get done. So congratulations to Jordan. Applause sound here. And then in addition to that, I want to say, I don't know how many of you guys saw it. I don't know if you guys are not following us on social media, but we just got announced as the 67th most popular Society and Journal podcast in Denmark. So shout out to the people of Denmark. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Please keep listening, and please keep sharing this podcast with your friends. You guys are amazing. And all of you who listen in are amazing on a weekly basis. So now this week, we actually have Chris Hamilton joining us for the show. So Chris is one of my favorite people to watch. And I know I say that sometimes, but like every single time I've said it, I really meant it. And he's just, the best way to describe Chris is like, I was once told that he held like a show or a podcast where his whole premise is that you get to come on and tell a crazy story. And then he would sit there and one-up you with a crazier story of his. So I'm actually really looking forward to this, this episode and having this sit down with Chris, because I feel like every single time I talk to him, he has some wild story of something weird that has happened to him in this past week. So we're going to see what happens. Without further ado, let me see if I can get Chris on the line.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm doing all right.
Oh, I'm
looking
good. Oh, thank you very much. I'm really excited to have you here on the Revisionary Podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to?
I don't know. Planning a wedding, I guess.
Oh, you're
like
engaged?
a sneak diss, right? Yes, I am. I'm engaged, man. It happened in March. Once the quarantine happened, I was like, you know what? We're not getting any younger. Might as well try to see something. She didn't like that proposal, but that's what it was.
Wait. So,
yeah.
How did you propose? Like, what were the details around it?
The details was it's my cousin Terrence Mack, very funny comedian, and he also does rap. He was moving to Indiana, and before he moved to Indiana with him and his lady, I was like, I got something to make you remember this forever. So he proposed.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, it's not a good proposal unless everyone's awkward. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, we moved in together. Living in the Bronx right now. Still pursuing comedy, so that's going well for me. So life is going well and career is going well.
That's my hometown borough, so I'm excited to hear it. Love the Bronx.
It's dangerous out here.
Listen. It's not. What are you, from Brooklyn or something?
I'm from Manhattan. Okay, I am bougie as it comes. Okay, there's a place called Gun Hill Road, and that's scary.
Bruh, we used to get the best hot dogs up on Gun Hill Road when I was a kid.
Yes. Hot dogs aren't good.
As a matter of fact, no. As a matter of fact, there's this fire Latino restaurant on the corner right on Gun Hill and Jerome, right near off of Mashalou. Go check that out.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out if I don't die. Okay, I'll go out there.
You're not gonna die, all right, bro? Wait.
No promises.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, I'm not gonna make promises.
That's the motto for Bronx. Yeah, you're right.
Only the strong will survive.
Exactly. I'm hoping, man.
Look, I made it out and I sound like this. You'll be all right.
Oh, okay. You know what? I like that. I will say 2 days ago, I did buy pizza, and when purchasing pizza, I did see someone's brains. So that happened to me.
What do you mean?
I mean, this guy showed me a video of another man who was dead and his brains was coming out of his head.
Oh.
I will never look at marinara sauce the same again. So, that is a true story. I'm not going to talk about that one, but I just wanted you to know that was the Bronx for me.
Yeah. Look, you right. You
right.
Now, I have a lot of fond memories of growing up in the Bronx, but I will say this: like, my parents would not let me go outside unless I was gonna go play sports. Like, if I was gonna go play basketball or play some baseball, then it was all right. But I mean, I saw some stuff, but the dudes knew who I was. I was from the neighborhood. They let me rock. They let me do my thing. Also, here's a little hack, like life hack. I had convinced everybody that I was going to make it to the MLB. I don't know how, but they were convinced that I was going to make it out. They're like, yo, this guy, he's going to be in the MLB. I used to sit there, I would throw baseballs for hours in the schoolyard. They're like, that's the guy. So, nobody really messed with me. I was all right.
That's called the hood prophet. They always need one. They're like, yo, no, he's going to make it out. He's going to make it out. Leave him alone. Don't mess with him. Don't rob him. He good. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump right into this without any further ado. Chris, the stage is yours. Go ahead and tell us your story.
Okay, this is a story about how I lived in Manhattan. This is more like 4 or 5 years ago. I lived in a very wonderful building with a doorman. It was awesome. It was next to the Trump Towers. You know what I mean? It was a good place. Okay, and some person walked into my house. That happened. All right, so that's the story I'm telling you now. Yeah,
and you're afraid of the Bronx?
Yes. Well, wait until you hear this story, because you're going to think, oh, that makes sense. You're weird or you fucked up. Okay. Okay, so I was still doing comedy at this time, and we were going to a Fire Island to do a show. I didn't know what Fire Island was. It just sounded lit, it sounded crazy until I found out what it's about. Which isn't a problem. Just not what I was into. I was like, oh, I'm going to get mad ladies, and there's no ladies there.
Right.
So while I'm getting ready, I'm packing my stuff, my clothes, getting everything ready for the weekend that I'm going to be in Fire Island. I hear a tap on my door, and it's a very subtle tap. One of those taps that you kind of go, oh, someone's trying to get my attention, but don't want people around to know,
Right.
So I go to my door, open the door, and I look. And the person that I see is talking to my neighbor, and the person's shirtless, and he's talking to my neighbor, and my neighbor kind of has her head like a little bit outside the jar door and kind of like, oh, no. And she closes the door, and he just looks at me and beelines right into my house. Like, what? Just directly. Yeah. And I don't know what a normal person would think, but I thought, oh, if he's going to kill me, I'm going to lock the door because we're going to fight. We're going to be two dead people. Yeah, I didn't have it in my head like, oh, there's a stranger in my house. I was like, oh, no, we're going to go boxing. Let's box. So I close my door. He comes in. I close my door, lock the top lock, put the chain on, and
what is wrong with you?
I don't know what I was expecting, but I shouldn't be in the Bronx. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't know what to expect. Anything could have happened, and I don't know what I was thinking. But he's in my house, and he goes to my guest room, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, okay, what is he doing? Why is this person in my house? So I go to my kitchen, I get a knife, and I go in my room first, and I go, hey, man, are you in here? And he goes, no. So I hear a voice, but I don't see anyone. So I go into the bathroom, like, hey, man, are you in here? He goes, nah, man. I'm like, dude. Where are you? You're in my house. Let me know where you are, man. And I go into the guest room, and he goes, yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. I needed the place to hide out. And I don't see him. I'm talking into a room, but I don't see where he is.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? And he's like, man, they're trying to get me. I don't want them to get me. Please don't let them get me. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But now it seems like they're going to get us. It's my house. It's not just you anymore. So I go, hey, look, you got to get out of here, man. I don't know. He's like, no, man, I can't go out there, man. They're trying to kill me. I go, who is trying to kill you? Now, mind you, I'm thinking that because I'm living in a nice area in Manhattan. I'm like, people are fine out here. What are you talking about?
Can we also talk about how there were people inside the apartment trying to kill him? Like, my man, you rolled in with a whole knife in your hand.
I did, but it was more of a prop rather than to use. I wasn't planning on using it. I just wanted to show him that I had something. You know what I mean? He could have had a gun. I don't know what he had. But he gets out. He gets out of the closet.
Right.
And he walks up to me and he goes, look, man, I'm so sorry. I have nothing on me. He shows me his hands, his palms are free. Like, he's like, look, and he shows me, he has no shirt on. He shows me that he has a gash right where his abs are. And someone stabbed him. And I go, wait, what happened? And he explains that he was trying to buy drugs from someone. And the person he was trying to buy drugs from thought it was a good idea to stab him and take the drugs, which is a good business plan. If you're a drug dealer, if you're dealing on drugs on the violent level, definitely do that. That way you get both of the revenue. Anyway. Right. So he shows me and I'm like, okay, all right. So I go to the bathroom, I warm a towel up and I give it to him so he can heal himself in a way. And he looks at me and he goes, hey man, do you have like a phone? And I go, yeah. But while he's asking me about the phone, he's also like being like kind of dodgy. Like he's avoiding the windows. And I didn't notice it at one point, but I see him like hanging out in the hallway where there are no windows. And he's like, yo, man, can you like dim the windows? Can you like dim? And I'm like, what? No, I'm not dim. Why? He goes, they're going to get me. I go, no one is coming up here to get you. And I don't know if that was true. I don't know, man. I didn't have any idea.
Right.
But he's like, no, they're going to get me, man. And I go, look, man, just take care of yourself. Go in the bathroom. Do what you got to do, bro. Then you got to go. Because I don't know what to do here. This is not my plan. I got to leave. Right. And I don't want to tell him it's Fire Island because I want him like, oh, you like that. Like, I don't want that to happen. So I don't tell him where I'm going. But he goes in the bathroom. We put alcohol on him just to make sure it's fine, so it's not infected. We put towel on him. He kept the towel. And then he comes back to me. He goes, yo, man, can I use your phone? I go, what? My phone? He goes, yeah, man, I'm sorry. They took my phone. I dropped it. I don't know. I go, yeah, man. So I give him my phone and he takes my phone and he goes on Facebook and then he puts up a status and he goes, yeah, y'all niggas thought y'all got me. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, you can't. No. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Let me just put a post up. I gotta just tell some people. I was like, whatever, man. This generation sucks. So he sends out a message to a few of his friends, and then he calls his mother, and he tells his mother what happened. I don't know how close him and his mother is, but apparently they have some kind of relationship where she knows that this happens a lot. So he goes, yeah, this guy, he helped me. He let me in his house. He saved me. And to me, I was like, that's dope. I never heard anyone say, oh, wow, this guy right here saved someone. That's right. So I'm like, oh, that's dope. And then he goes, yeah, you can speak to him. And he hands me the phone. Mm-hmm. And I get the phone and I got my ears next to it and I'm just listening. And all I hear is...
She's just chewing?
Chewing gum. Chewing gum. Like this is a Monday or something.
That's what I was going to say. How often is this happening to him that she's so nonchalant?
Too often, okay? Too often. And then she's chewing gum. And she goes, hello? I'm like, hello? She's like, what's up? I was like, he gave you the phone. He called you. Talk to me. Like it shouldn't be this way. It should be this way.
Right.
So she's like, thank you for helping him. I'm like, you don't sound appreciative at all. Like, was it you that did this? I don't know what happened, but it sounds like it was you, man. But she's like, okay, what do you want me to do? I go, I don't know, maybe come and get him? Because I think that would be like the best move, to come and get your stabbed and bleeding son. I think that would be nice, especially he's in a stranger's house. And she's like, I can't get off work.
What?
Yeah, bro. And I looked at the phone before he handed it to me, and the area code, because you got to have the area code saved so you know what location it is. It said New Jersey. So he either came down from New Jersey or he got to go to New Jersey. Something's going on with New Jersey.
Right.
And she's like, I can't get off work. I can't find no one to cover my shift. And I'm like, wow, your job, getting paid for today is way more important than losing your son today. Because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right. You're not a doctor. You're not a doctor, right?
I'm not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not even close. I can guess.
You've seen a few seasons of Grey's Anatomy. You can figure it out.
That looks malignant. Yeah, But she goes, I have to find someone to take my shift. And I'm like, do whatever you have to. Come and get your kid, man. I don't know. To me, it was like an existential crisis. I'm like, that's weird.
Hold on. So let me ask you a question real quick. So at this point, you're sitting here. All of this has happened. How much time do you have before you have to leave to make it to Fire Island?
I see, and that's what I couldn't say, because that's, I have to go to Fire Island. Sounds so not what I need to say.
Right.
Situation like that.
For those of you guys who are listening and don't understand the reference to Fire Island is a very, very fun place, and it's a very freeing place for the LGBTQ community, where they go out there and just party and are able to, live their best lives, essentially.
Yes. They leave their wives at home. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wasn't going to say it like that, but damn, all right.
Sorry. So I think it was around 45 minutes to an hour or so. The reason why I say that is because the next thing the lady says while I'm on the phone with her, she goes, so can you just keep him there until I get there? Which I'm like, if you're working, that's at least 9 to 5. That's 5 p.m. No, get your kid.
Right.
He can't be here. You can't be here. It's like 12 o'clock. I'm probably supposed to leave at 1 or 2.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's the time.
Right.
And she's like, all right, I got to find someone to get my shift. Can I call you back? I'm like, yeah, I guess. Please do. Call me back. Whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I hang up the phone, give him the phone back. I was like, if you have to make any more calls, go ahead. He's like, no, man, I'm good. I just hang out here for a bit. I can see that he's calming down now. Before he was like a brown skin, pale looking person, but now he's more falling into his color complexion,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, just hang out, but don't sit on anything because you'll put blood on it. So just just hang around. And then literally a few minutes later, someone knocks on the door again. And this one is like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh my God, are these niggas here to get him?
Yeah.
In my head, I'm thinking how the people that used to save the Jews, they're like,
yeah.
Oh, how'd you have it? I'm like, am I going to be able to do this?
Oh my God.
This individual. I hear the dog bang. I hear the boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, oh man. And I this kind of something like that happened to me. I felt this. So I'm like, okay, all right, let me just go and check it out. I go to check it out, and it's police officers.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 of them, or maybe 4 of them. And I open the door like a jar and I go, can I help you? And they're like, sir, we heard that there was a disturbance in the neighborhood. Is anyone in the house that shouldn't be in the house? And I know they know someone's in the house,
mm-hmm.
but I know they can't come in unless I say they can come in. They're like vampires. So,
right.
So I go, let me check. And I never thought I could say something like that, but I was like, I'll check and see if someone's in here. I don't know. So I leave, I close the door, lock it, and then I go check, and I'm like, hey man, where are you? He's like, I'm in here. And he means the guest room. So I go in the guest room, and once again, I don't see him. He's hiding again. So I'm speaking at the closet, all right, man, so there's some cops outside, and they're asking, obviously, about you.
Yeah.
Do you want to come out? And he goes, nah, man, they're gonna arrest me. I swear to God, I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm like, I don't know you, bro. I don't know you. I don't know what happened.
Right.
But there's cops looking for someone, and they're looking for you. He goes, and this is what he tells me. He goes, man, when they stabbed me, I ran and I pushed this white lady. That's why they want me. I go, you didn't mention that, bro. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is anymore, man.
So at this point, are you thinking that you're an accessory to a crime?
Yes. Yeah. I'm adding up the things just like you're adding up the things this is not looking good for 2 black guys. I'm going to Fire Island. That doesn't look good for me. It's like I told my lover to commit a crime, come back to my house, we're going to smash, and I'm going to leave. That's what it looks like. So I'm like, look, man, I don't know you. I need you to come out. I'm going to talk to them, and I'll make sure they don't do anything to you. And that was also a lie, because I don't know what they could do to him once I tell him to come inside. I don't have no idea.
Right.
So I go, hey man, just come out. And he goes, all right. And he was under my bed. He was under the bed.
Right.
And I've never seen someone like stealthily crawl out of a bed. Like he didn't do like a push-up thing. He like slid out of the bed and got up like on some Thriller stuff. And I go, all right, stay here. I'm gonna go get them, but I guarantee you'll be fine. Okay. And mind you, this time has passed, not like an hour because I have to leave soon, but time has passed. So I go to the police officers. I go, hey, you know what? There is someone in here. I didn't know. But if you come to get them, can you like not use any force or guns or anything like that? And they go, yeah, no, we just want to talk to him. Okay, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. So I go, hey, okay, stay here. I bring him to the living room. I say, stay in the living room. I'm going to go get him. I run to the room. I go, hey, man, come out. They're here. And he goes, all right. And he comes out. And they had a lady cop talk to him. And she's like, hey, we just want to talk to you. And then a guy cop was like, all right, I'm going to put these handcuffs on you, too. And I was like, that's not how you talk to someone. No handcuffs to have a conversation.
Right.
So they handcuff him. And I go, that's what I do. Okay. What I wanted to say was, if you wanted to talk to him, you don't have to put him in handcuffs. But I realized there are two black people and one of us committed a crime. That's not good for me. So
which one?
Yeah. Exactly. So I go, I'm not going to say anything. And he goes, yo, man, just tell people on Facebook that they took me in and I'm going to the precinct. I go, I got you, man. No worries. I'm going to tell you a story. Like, that's what I do to him. He leaves. They take him out.
Right.
One of the cops investigate me, and they start asking me questions. They ask if I was involved in the situation, and I go no. And they go, it's kind of funny how he like went to your apartment. I'm like, yeah, I think it's funny too. I'm not going to come here. I don't know this guy.
Right.
And I go, oh, likely story. So what's your deal? Like, and they're investigating me as if I committed a crime. And I'm just being honest, telling them the things I know. It happened randomly. They go, all right, well, what's the bags for? And I'm like, well, going to Fire Island. Not what you think. And they're like, okay, all right. Well, we're gonna keep in tabs. Don't go too far. I go, I'm in trouble somehow. I got in trouble somehow.
Right.
They leave. I didn't get any information that I needed. None. But I did call his mother. And she goes, hello? I go, yeah, they got him.
Yeah, the police.
It sounds like he might have been murdered, but I was like, no, the cops got him. And she goes, what? I told him to stay there. I go, I don't know. Kids nowadays.
You try to make it seem like you had nothing to do with the police coming in.
Exactly.
You snitched.
And she doesn't know, but she believes, I guess.
Right.
Now. Yeah, she definitely knows now, for sure. But she goes, okay, well, I guess I couldn't find anyone to cover my shift, which meant that she wanted me to hang out with this dude until 5 o'clock.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. So I go, yeah, okay, well, now you know he's in prison somewhere. Find him. Right? But I didn't get the precinct that he was going to be in. I had no idea. So I'm pretty sure she is not looking for him.
Right.
Yeah. But after that, I go to Fire Island. I just leave. I get on what? You have to take a boat there, I guess.
I wouldn't know, Chris. I've never been. I wouldn't know how you get there. You tell me.
That is the perfect response. Yeah, I was doing the show, people that are listening. Okay, audiences, I was doing a show.
Yeah,
and
I believe you. We all know you were doing a show.
They're like, what kind of show? But I told the comic that I was going with, like, what happened. And it was like, wow, you sure you want to go to Fire Island? I was like, nothing's going to make it any worse than what I already saw. I don't care. I can get catcalled. I don't even care, man. It's going to be fire. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But yeah, literally, that's a story. But after that happened, I did have to stay in contact with one of the detectives for like a week because they had to make sure I wasn't involved in the situation. And I wasn't, but they thought I was, so it might have been.
So, like, what kinds of questions were they asking? Like, I'm trying to figure out what role did they think you could have conceivably had?
You know how I could have been like the lookout, the getaway, the person that doesn't get dirty but just watching the dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like if you're a getaway, you're gonna have a car, not an apartment, right? Who has a getaway apartment? Apartments are stable.
You know, it was a very nice apartment that they could have been like, it's probably a trap house. Like I heard about these. They're not thinking like, oh, okay, he randomly walked into someone else's house. But the weird thing is, I have a doorman. How do you get past the doorman? Yeah. So I don't know if that guy got fired, but I hope he got fired. But yeah,
the kicker is your doorman was the person who he was actually having the transaction with. And that's how he got into the building.
The doorman stabbed him. He's like, he got
much. It's the perfect cover.
That makes the most sense because it doesn't make sense how you got past someone that's supposed to guard the door. Like, they didn't come up at any point to go, hey, there's a random person up here that shouldn't be up here. And I guess they couldn't because that would scare off a lot of the people that were living there, residents. But it was a weird thing that the guy got past the door guy, went up to my floor, knocked on people's doors, and I just happened to answer. At the same time, I'm kind of happy, I guess, because God forbid if the people were chasing him and they were going to try to get him later on, that would have, for me, that would have been like, oh, that's messed up.
Right.
But at the same time, I felt like I was an accomplice in some weird way. But yeah.
So here's the thing, right? I think that these things tend to work out poetically. And who better to assist you, or who better apartments to run into than a comedian's apartment? Because now you have this dope story that you can share and tell his story like you said you would. I'm sharing his story. This is dedicated to you, man. I feel like he's up there. But he's probably up there. So for those of you guys who are listening and can't see Chris, he's actually pointing to the sky and saying that he's going to put this man's picture on his shirt.
Yes, I'm pouring some 40 out for him, okay? My 40 ounce. But yes, he's definitely probably not with us anymore, statistically. You know what I mean?
Jeez. Just because of his life choices is what you're saying.
Yes. I mean, come on. I don't know. But I did feel bad. And I think for a while, I kept his Facebook on my phone just to see how he was doing, because I didn't know him, but he put his Facebook on my phone. So I was once in a while just checking it out, just seeing how he was doing. And then after a while, I was like, oh, this feels creepy. So I got rid of that.
Yeah. You said that your neighbor was a woman?
Yes, it was a lady. Yeah.
So I'm trying to imagine what that conversation would have been like when he was like trying to explain his story to her, because there must have been an extra layer of scary for her.
Yes. I mean, it had to be. He had no shirt on. He was covered in sweat and he was knocking on her door. That alone is scary. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it didn't seem like the lady was bilingual. So I don't think he was like getting through to what he was trying to say. But I feel like she just saw an angry, sweaty black dude with a shirt off bleeding. And she's like, ah! Like, it makes perfect sense. But I hope that he was trying to explain the same way he did with me. And I think if you're ever a victim, the best move to do as it is to do open palm. This is just like this. I have nothing. I don't know why, but there's a scientific proof that if you show your palm of your hands, it makes you look harmless for some reason. Mm-hmm. And in that case, it definitely worked for me, because when he was like, I have nothing, I was like, yeah, I see it. I see you. You don't punch you. You're not going to slap me. So yeah. I have no idea what they were talking about. I have no idea. I just know she was like, no. Whatever you're asking for, no. Like, it doesn't matter. Your basketball team? Not at all. No.
So, and how far into the hallway did you step out that your door was wide enough for him to beeline into it?
No, he definitely barged in, because I didn't step out. I opened the door, but I opened it like you would normally open it. I didn't open it like a jar. I didn't check like that. I looked through the peephole. I saw that it was a guy and the lady that he was talking to. And in my brain, I was just like, I wonder what's going on. That's what I thought. And I opened the door. And then while I opened it, and it's wide, he ran right through me. Now, he didn't push me, because if he would have pushed me, I would have felt like, oh, this is an attack. But it was definitely more like he like kind of slid past me, got through, and he ran to the back of the house. And I was like, okay, it didn't seem like he was trying to be violent. And maybe that's me. Maybe that's who I am. I don't know. But I thought more that it was a victim situation, or something scary was about to happen, not that something scary was happening.
Okay, that's fair. So why don't we go ahead and get into this? And if you could change any details or facts of the story, what would you change?
The facts of the story I would change is not opening the door.
Well, obviously, besides that, what else would you have changed about the interaction?
The story would have been so much better if I was like, oh, I saw like a guy without a shirt bleeding. Keeping it close. Like that would have been a way better story.
Right, sure.
Yeah. But if without that, I think the story could have been better. If maybe I was like, you know what, bro, let's get these fools. Like, what if I was like, I just doubled down. I was like, yo, let's get them. You know what I mean? Like,
Chris, you told me you were living in a doorman building in Manhattan, and you're worried about living in the Bronx. I don't see how that would have worked out well for you.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was a scrapper, and I like when I went to school, I trained in martial arts, like mixed martial arts. So I have been doing that, and I'm ready for it. But you never pick a fight. You gotta wait for the fight to come to you. So that's what I did. I thought the fight came into my house, but it didn't. So what I should have did was like, yo, how about we team up? You get a knife, I get a knife. We go find these guys. And I didn't make that move. And you're right. I didn't say it was going to help out my story. It's a better story.
I'm just saying, this sounds to me like you've seen Karate Kids 1 through 3 2 times, and now you think you're ready for action. That is what I'm hearing from this story.
I see him and I go, whoa! Karate Kid stand?
Yeah, basically. Okay. So we're gonna...
I get that, and I think, I'm glad that didn't happen. I would have, whenever there's a situation of fighting and I can get involved, I try to go, no, I'm an adult now. I got responsibilities. No.
Right.
But at the same time, it is fun to beat someone up. It's amazing to just watch someone's will to fight dwindle. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But yeah, I think there could have been a lot of things that could have dramatically changed the story. For me, I'm just glad it didn't escalate any further. I do also look back at it, and I still wish to this day I went to the cops and I was like, oh, no, he's not here. I don't know what you're talking about. I wish that would have happened. I feel that because I knew I was going somewhere and I didn't want this person that I didn't know bleeding in my house anymore, I was like, oh, this is the best escape for me. My best submission would be to just hand him to these police officers, let them take him, and there we go. And that's what I did. And the sad thing is I wish I didn't do that. I wish I was like, bro, fucking come with me to Fire Island. You know what I mean?
Right.
Show them something different in the world. That sounded gross.
Look, hey man, let me make this stance clear in case anyone's listening. Love is love. Live your life. What you do to live your personal truth and your personal happiness is what I want for you. Like, I'm not with Chris here. Like, what he's calling gross, that's his own opinion.
First off, I think it's beautiful to have a place called Fire Island, and for having someone to have their own retreat and be able to live out whoever they feel like they want to be, I think that's wonderful. I think the only bad thing for me is if you go, hey, are you that then? And I go, no, I'm not that. But I would be as offended if you was like, are you white? I'm like, I'm not. Look at me. You know what I mean? That's where my energy was coming from, and less of knocking down anything. But I wish that when the cops did come, I didn't let them in, and I was like, all right, man, maybe you can just do something that's not in my house anymore, but they're not after you. But I get it. He was petrified.
So here's the other thing, right? Now, you mentioned how you regret letting the cops in, and as you were telling me the story, my first thought was that could have gone sideways real quick. You know what I mean? Like just involving the police. Involving the police?
Yeah. But here's the thing. I don't know if they had clues that he might have been in my house, but they don't know if he was still there. I could have easily been like, no, I kicked him out a few minutes before you got here. I could have lied and have been a criminal by doing that, but I could have at least limited their actions of what they were going to do, because I don't know what they're going to do to him. And obviously, I would assume prison and maybe some time or whatever. But at the same time, that messes with someone's mentality a lot. To get arrested, you know what I mean? Especially if someone that you go for help, and then you expect these people, the police, to also help you. And then sometimes they're also looking at you as a villain rather than looking at you as a person that was just stabbed,
But not even that. I'm saying, like, take it one step further. You retreated into the apartment. You were there for what I'm imagining was a few minutes. Time had passed, as you said.
Yeah.
Right? That only further incriminated you. I mean, thankfully it worked out for you. But you know what I mean? Like, you could have ended up.
Oh my God. I get you. I get what you're saying. And it just hit me. I was in danger the whole time. I feel like Bruce Willis in Sixth Sense. Oh, I was dead the whole time. That's what yeah, I get you. I get you completely. I'm glad it didn't go anything crazier than that. And I do think that because he was young, and I think he was afraid, and I think that's true for a lot of, I don't want to just say hood dudes, but for a lot of people who think they're tough, is that I think they think they have to be this tough individual, but inside we're all kind of scared because we don't know what's going on.
Right.
And I knew what wasn't going on, but I knew I didn't want him in my house anymore. That's what I also knew. So it's like, they're going to take you somewhere else. I just hope they took him to the hospital first. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So how has this story affected you since then? Do you think twice now about the way you opened the door?
No. And that's the sad part about it. The sad part is it hasn't stopped that. I think I'm clever enough. I'm hoping that I'm skillful enough that if anything crazy was to happen, I'll be able to handle that. And I would say someone coming into my house, that wasn't the craziness, because nothing bad happened. I think if someone came into my house and was like, I'm going to attack you too, I would consider that more of something I should be like, all right, am I ready for that? Can I handle that? And I think in this situation, I think I did the best I could. And if this was to happen again, I would hope that I react the same way. Quick to open my doors, let in whoever needs help, and just to make sure whatever's outside about to harm them is blocked by some wall, some door, something like that. I'm trying to be a good guy. I want to go to heaven, man. But I also want to enjoy my time at Fire Island. Okay.
Listen, I'm just saying, I've seen you do stand-up. The deck is probably already stacked against you. You might as well just lean into the evil. Just lean into the evil. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I genuinely do. I think that I would want to do for anyone that I would hope someone does for me. And if I'm running into someone's house for help, regardless of who you are, I would hope that, I'll help you and hopefully they'll help me at some point. So my move of getting the knife was more of a thing of hopefully nothing bad happens. But if something does, I have to be ready for the action that I did commit at the beginning of opening that door. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm trying to do that so the audience goes, he's the bad guy. Oh no, okay, he got a kind of heart. He has a good heart.
You're trying to win them over. Oh, I respect that. I get that. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for coming on the Revisionary podcast. This has been a story that I've enjoyed tremendously.
Buddy, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Yeah,
I personally would not let a stranger into my apartment. But again, I also grew up in the Bronx, so there's that. You know what I mean?
Whole different story.
Also, look, just being honest here, I don't like to discuss this, but I am Latino, and that's how you get new roommates. Family comes over and doesn't leave. So there's this thing about me not trying to let anyone into my apartment randomly. So that's that. Oh, God. I'm going to get flamed by the Latino community after that one. It's okay. I'm one of you guys. We're all in the same. Before I let you go, we have a tradition here on the Revisionary podcast where we like to end every episode by asking our guests to share a quick story from their childhood or from growing up that puts a smile on their face or just generally makes them feel good.
Oh, that's nice, man. Something that makes me feel good. You should have told me that. I would have had that ready.
I like to catch people off guard because it's more authentic, because it's the first thing that comes to mind.
I feel you. Okay, so I used to go to Fresh Air Fund. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
No, what is that?
It's a place where all the troubled youths go to get better, you know what I mean, and see other things and go camping. It was in Fishkills in New York City, New York Fishkills, really up there.
New York, yeah.
Yeah, and we would have Friday socials, and Friday socials obviously dancing. So this is the first time I got introduced to the club life. I'm doing quotations because
Right.
I'm seeing other 13-year-olds dancing and grinding on each other. I'm like, yeah, all right, I gotta make my movement some late. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not sure if you remember this, but there was a time we were like, yo, you go over there, ask her. No, you ask her. Like you're doing that little argument thing.
Right.
Like, go over and talk to her. And I would always be the one that would go, I'll do it. Watch. I'll go over there and I'm like, yo, I saw you from across the room, the cafeteria. Can I dance with you? And they're always like, no. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just walk back over there. And the friends were like, like they would see that I failed. It was almost as bad as when you like get a gutter ball from bowling and look back and I'm like, you try. But I remember this one time this girl I had a crush on. Her name was Perla. And she was gorgeous. As a kid, obviously, we're kids, so it's fine. I can say this.
Right. It's not weird.
It's not weird now. It's not, you're weird. And I remember going over to ask her, and the song, like Johnny B, I think his name, John B. Don't listen to what those people say. They don't know about. Okay, audience, look up that song. It's a hit. Okay, it's amazing. A dude from UK, but he sounds black. It's crazy. All right. Anyway, so that song comes on, and I'm like, hey, like I've been looking at you the whole time I've been in camp, and I never made a move, and I'm finally trying to make one. And she goes, oh, do you want to dance? And I was like, yeah, if you want to dance. And she's like, I don't know how to do all the grinding stuff. And I'm like, we can just, whatever you want to do. I don't mind. And we just like stood face to face and just danced at each other. Yeah. And if you're an adult looking, you're like, this is weird. That's weird. Everything about this is weird.
Right.
But for me, I was like, this is dope. This is what I guess going to the camp is all about. Becoming like an adult, quote unquote.
Right.
Becoming responsible, seeing someone you like and trying to make that move of like, oh, hey, and every time I think about that, I get very happy. And I think the reason why is because I had a big crush on, what's the name again?
Perla.
Yeah, a big crush on Paula. And I never told her. The only thing I did do once is I let her borrow my hat. And after that, I let her borrow my hat. The weird thing about the hat situation is that I peed on the hat and she put it on her head.
What?
And I was like, that's dog rules. You're mine now. That's how it works.
No, you didn't. You made that up.
No. I accidentally peed on it because I don't know. I was a kid. And then I put some like the off spray on it to make it like not smell like urine.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear it because I knew better, but I had it with me because it was like one of those things to protect you from the sun. And she was like, oh, can I wear your hat? And I was like, oh, yeah, of course. And I gave it to her. She put it on her head. And I thought it was a smooth move to go, that hat smells just like me. If you like that smell of the hat, you like the smell of me. And she smelled the hat. And she goes, it doesn't smell like you, which is the meanest thing you can say. But she had urine on her head the whole time. So there you go.
I mean, the counter argument to that is she might have smelled bad, didn't want to hurt your feelings, and goes, this doesn't smell like you. So there's a positive in everything.
You're telling me she's a saint? Oh my goodness. I made a big mistake. My fiance cannot find out about this video.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Do you have any last words for our audience?
If you liked the story, about the guy breaking into my house, if you liked the story about Paula, come check me out on Hamilton #4 Mayor on Instagram. I do stand up in New York City. I've done stand up in LA. I am a professional comic as well as one, obviously. And am I working on any projects right now? Check it out on Instagram. Find out.
Don't you have a podcast?
I had a podcast, and it was getting too preachy, so I stopped. The election is like, what are you guys doing out there? That's pretty much what the podcast was. But yeah, I still do once in a while vlogging. I'll do vlogs, so they can check that out too. That'll be what is it? No Hard Feels. That's what that's called on YouTube. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. So yeah, you'll see some podcast stuff on there, some vlogs, some old stuff, some new stuff. And hopefully you enjoy it. If you enjoy me, you'll enjoy that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Chris. It's been wonderful. Take care.
Buddy, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Have a good one.
You too.
The Revisionary Podcast.
What did I tell you? Did I not tell you that was going to be a crazy story? I mean, who does that happen to? why are people coming into your apartment? I knew that was exactly what was going to happen because that's just so Chris. But anyway, I want to appreciate and thank every single one of you for listening and tuning in every week. You guys are the reason why I do this, and honestly, I really enjoy putting out new content for you guys. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you're following us on Instagram, Revisionary Podcast, and on Twitter, Revisionary Pod, or like us on Facebook, Revisionary Podcast. And as always, this is Juan Carlos. Thank you for listening.
This is the